Hey, what you doing there? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories. Have you ever had, as a DM, have you ever had a weird experience where a player wants to do something that is technically like feasible as long as they get good rolls and they still get away with it? I recently had a bunch of players go and discover a Duragar fortress that's been abandoned because of some sort of disease or curse of some such, and they got attacked by hook horrors. This is what hook horrors look like. They're horrifying, but my barbarian that was enlarged by an artificer asked me if they could like pick one of the hook horrors and toss him like a javelin at the other one. I said roll for it. He rolled really well and he just javelin one of the hook horrors into the other one. I think that's my favorite part about being a DM, is that I can be there for silly crazy things going on and cheer my players on whenever they want to do something nuts. Anyway, enough about me and my DMing. Let's go get some RPG horror stories down, starting with the first story for today. DM keeps information from the players, kills his campaign because of it. This happened a few years ago. One of my closest friends was the DM, and to this day doesn't seem to understand that he made this campaign not fun, and that's why everyone quit. So the DM made a custom setting for the adventurers and didn't give them all the details of the area that we'd be in. We had a session 0, we made our characters, we all wrote backstories that we sent to the DM before the campaign got underway. I made a lizardfolk druid, low intelligence, low charisma, high wisdom, wrote about 500 words with a backstory, the stereotypical story about coming home to a destroyed village, seeking out the villains of justice and revenge, and the DM had all of this for weeks before the start of the campaign. First session comes and we find out lizardfolk in this setting are literal slaves. Whoa, hold on, your DM didn't tell you that? Huh, this would have been good to know at this session 0. I would have made something different, but fine, I can roll with it. DM later tells me he thought about warning me, but decided the story fit well, so he let it be a surprise. Whatever. No, don't let that be a surprise. If you have a player character that's playing in lizardfolk, and if in your universe lizardfolk are considered like a slave race, you should probably, actually no, not even probably, definitely 100% let your player know. Because how would it be a surprise? Why would you want it to be a surprise? To put like a little gotcha on them, right? Is that why? Now I have to play my uncharismatic, borderline feral druid as an inquisitor rogue and fail because I don't have the stats or features to support that playstyle. Over the course of several sessions, my character makes every attempt he can to find information about his missing friends and family. It's always a -1 investigation roll, never perception, never any free information for sneaking around as a wild-shaped animal, scrying, etc. Because all the lizard folks are slaves, the lizard folk are hesitant to talk to anyone, even another lizard folk, and everyone else is dismissive to lizard folk asking questions. On a rare occasion, I stumble into someone that might have information. It's a -1 persuasion roll. Literally stonewalled at every attempt to get information that I make. I gave up to the character around session 6 or 7, made a new character, but due to other similar issues from other players, the whole campaign folded in session 9. I wonder if everybody else got some sort of a similar treatment. I would have played Tiefling. Oh, my Tiefling. Everybody avoids talking to Tieflings that don't want to have anything to do with them. Okay, well, I guess I'll just struggle then. I want to play an Aasimar. In this universe, Aasimars are considered to be benevolent beings that nobody tries to talk to because they're scared of what the punishment will happen to them. Okay, well, I guess me socializing is out of the question. If you got something going on as a DM, where you have a specific rule that like, lizard folk are a slave race, or something very apparent that needs to be known for the people playing a specific race or species in your campaign, you should probably tell your player about that so they know ahead of time. Magic is forbidden, multi-classing is forbidden, looking at feet is forbidden, I don't know why, exposing your ankles is forbidden, I don't know. Like, you should let your players know about this sort of things before they start to play. I'm not surprised the game folded by session 9 if everybody else had some sort of an issue to deal with. Anyway, let's get to the next story for today. D&D Dust Up ended up with me in a hospital. So I'm typing this up on my way home from the hospital. Tonight was D&D night for us at the LSG. We're playing at our usual table next to the shelves where there are painted minis and terrain for all systems. Mostly Warhammer 40k minis and terrain with some D&D tossed in for good measure. The store lets people sell them on commission, with the store taking a small cut. Another table was getting a little loud and we asked them to quiet down. The DM had no problem with that since we are polite and asked the exuberant player to dial it back down a bit. Things got loud after a while. Looked like they were getting to the boss battle, and the loud play was getting louder. We paid it little mind as we were in our combat at the time. Nothing fancy, just some incidental mobs in a dungeon. It got louder and quieter in a cycle, and we thought little of it until I stood up to move my menu on the map to get into a better position to fireball without hitting my own crew when we heard, "You motherfricker!" I looked over just in time to see the DM getting lined back by the loud player, and they were both falling towards me before I could move. They ran me right into the shelves. Store staff intervened, police and medical were called. First aid was administered, a gnarly cut on my arm, a bruise on my face, and my elbow hurt a lot, and statements were made. Yet I pressed charges. The cut was treated with butterfly closures, and the elbow suffered a non-displaced radial head fracture, which thankfully won't need a cast. And I'll be in a sling for a few days then. Once the orthopedist looks at it, I'll be put on range of motion exercise for the next 2 months. I'm also going to look into suing the guy since I'm going to be on short-term disability since I can't do my job as a paramedic with a gimpy arm. The reason the loud guy snapped? I learned later that his character was downed, not killed, when the dice rolls failed him. Other than that, I don't know the final result of things. I'll find out more next game night. I imagine the loud guy is banned from the store at the very least, and that he's going to have to pay the damages to the shelves and the minis that were on commission. Damn, dude. That guy decided roll for initiative IRL. Holy shit. That is crazy. That is wild. I wish you the safest, swiftest recovery possible. And I hope you get some sort of recompense for this because, yeah, this sucks. You can't do anything as a paramedic with an injured arm. I guess it's a lesson. Whenever you have people in your party, somebody seems really aggressive and you know they're gonna implode, you may want to just ask them to leave. Good lord, I can't believe it. There must have been signs that this guy's pretty aggressive. There must have been massive signs that he's just so aggressive. I mean, if not from yelling and everything, just charging at your DM, that's not okay. That's not okay at all. Anyway, next story for today. Never DM for your heroes. My first time DM nightmare. This happened a long time ago when I was still fairly wet behind the ears with regards to DMing. I joined a local group in my area and we would meet at a pub to play a long-running 4E campaign. The campaign itself had been running for several years, and so I took time to read up and learn about the world and the characters in it. As with these groups, many players come and go, and some return. The original DM, from here on after referred to as OGDM, had long gone, and although they sometimes posted on the group Facebook, they were no longer involved with the campaign, despite their characters and indeed many of their creations being legendary and often referenced in the game by the current DM. Fast forward a couple of years and several of my characters later, the current DM suggested I take a shot at running the campaign while they took a break and played for a while. I was very nervous, but I decided to give it a shot. Honestly, I didn't have any experience other than what I had seen and heard as player, so I read the lore, wrote around respectively, and made maps and nervously tried to prepare. In hindsight, I prepared way too much and learned too much on the rather than being a bit more laissez-faire. As a result of it, was not good at improvising or dealing with surprises. Sometimes learning how to DM can just come from watching a DM do their stuff and just mimicking it and getting your own style for it. Of course, there's tutorials and the different guides you can read up on. Bunch of great video guides by Matt Colville about DMing. That's what I watched a lot when I was learning how to DM. It was very, very useful. Very, very useful for me. But anyway, I think you're doing okay if you just, give it a bit of practice. Everybody starts off a little bit rough, and it gets better the more time you do it. The upshot of this is that several of my sessions were a little railroady, and at one point, I even almost crossed into the dreaded DMPC territory. I was lucky though, my PCs were patient and gave me good feedback. My old DM was also really good at helping me improve, and I cared a lot about getting it right, so I tried my best to adapt and listen. As a result, I chilled out a bit, and we found our groove, and the campaign became a lot of fun. So where did I go wrong? What was going so well that one day I decided to invite the OGDM back as a player. He was the one who started it all, who I had only heard of in hushed tones and original lore excerpts. The original content he had written for the campaign was frankly amazing writing, and as a result, I venerated the guy, in hindsight too much. I literally put him on a pedestal, but unbeknownst to me, there was previous in the group for drama with OGDM, although none of my group ever told me this when I suggested we invite them back. They just said, okay, feel like this is gonna be one of those never meet your heroes kind of story, potentially. I don't know, I mean, maybe there was some sort of drama, maybe there was some sort of falling out, but like, if everybody else knows about it, they probably should have told you about it, let you know like, hey, so this kind of happened before, we had an argument over this mechanic or that mechanic, so maybe it just might be good to talk ahead of time, just to clear the air, you know, just keep it out in the open, because like, the problems can't resolve themselves if the guy just quits and just never anything resolved, you know, just gonna steep there. Maybe he gets angry about it. I don't know. Maybe he's gonna come back with more pent-up aggression towards it. I have no idea. I don't know how bad the drama was. We just know there's a drama, and that's basically it. Anyway, man, I was delighted when this guy came back to the table. They were what I considered to be the pinnacle of veteran DM and storyteller. In the past, they had even created and published a fairly well-known game system. As a fledgling DM, I wanted to get better and learn from them, and I was really excited to see what their opinions of the campaign they created was after all this time away, and multiple other DMs shaping the world. So when the day came, they showed up. Man, I was disappointed. I usually had several maps prepared for every session with some wiggle room for random encounters or wildcards. I must stress again, I was kind of green. I struggled to adapt to things that I would find easy now. I really wanted my players to enjoy to the point that I was so obsessed with making sure everyone was happy that I was constantly anxious. We had a play stop. This old DM came back as a player and blew it apart. Every group decision that was made, he would choose to do something else. Every direction the party wanted to go, he would ensure was another way, and because he was fresh back, and of course the originator of all this, the group kind of went along with it. If I dared to suggest that this might be going off course, it was like I fell for his trap, and he would passively aggressively round on me with a gotcha as if I had spat in his face. He would openly challenge me to adapt to the curveballs he was throwing for no sake other than to challenge me as a DM. I was visibly rattled and inwardly absolutely panicking. In the end, I had to message the DM before me and ask for help as we worked it out together. Several of our veteran players told GDM to dial it back. He got irate, constantly was really confrontational and made me feel like I was a child. You could see I was flustered and stressed, but he kept going. That was a long 4 hours. Wow, that was actually a lot worse than I expected it to be. So the GM comes back to play, but instead of playing, they're literally just playing with the current DM, trying to challenge him at every turn, trying to spin things up and pull little gotchas here and there. But like, why? Why is it going after the DM? Shouldn't he be, playing as a character and playing with a party and just enjoying the story and seeing what's going on? I mean, they have player agency already and they have a story going on. Why do they need to challenge the DM every single time? I feel like there's some sort of bitterness that's coming from there. Like maybe that's the DM that thinks that he's better than you, so he's trying to challenge you to try to test you and show that he is indeed better than you and make you second guess your own DMing skills. That's just my assumption. I have no idea what the prerogative for this DM, what he's actually going for. I have no clue whatsoever, but like, it is weird. Like, shouldn't you just be rolling dice, not trying to argue with the current DM about rulings or this or that or other? Like, what is the point of challenging the DM in this situation? Now, I was looking for an attaboy from him. I knew I had a lot to learn, and that it was partially why I was so excited to see him return to my table. Figured I could get some guidance from a master. What I didn't expect was to feel so crappy, and frankly, it hurt a lot. I was so rattled that I remember when the group had gone, I sat down and nearly had a panic attack. It shook my confidence so badly that I didn't want the DM or even be a player anymore. I blame myself, of course, and yes, now I look back, there were a lot of things that I could have done better, but I also know that his actions and the way he was were not acceptable. What ensued later was an absolute crapstorm on Facebook. I told everyone it was fine, I didn't want any drama, but several of the veterans were really unhappy with how it went down, and it turned into an absolute dogfight, with them bringing up his past. OGDM is up to his old tricks, I see, was what one of the players wrote, with another one of the players even apologizing on OGDM's behalf, stating that this is the kind of thing they always do. In the end, OGDM had blocked every single player, including me. I never wrote a bad word to them or against them, in fact, tried to stop the whole thing. I guess OGDM felt bad because 2 weeks later I got a letter mailed through my door. Yes, mailed, saying they were in pain from an operation and they were sorry it went down like that. They invited me over to dinner, which is big, but also weirded me out a little because they were barely acquainted. Honestly, the whole having to write me via snail mail because they blocked me from any avenue of communication, despite me never saying a bad word to them or about them, sat poorly with me. I never took them up on the offer. If somebody had an argument with me online, blocked me on there, and then brought me snail mail, yeah, I'd be like, okay, they're trying to put me in some sort of a trap. They're trying to be like, well, I want to invite you to the dinner. but you'll be the dinner or some crap like that. I don't know, some evil mastermind stuff. Like if the guy felt really bad, just unblock and send a message like any other normal person. But no, they have to be like extra about it. I don't know. Maybe the war having a couple of things going on. Maybe the war in pain. They're just lashing out this new DM or something. Maybe the surgery actually did happen, or it could just be an excuse. I don't know. Either way, what OGDM did to the current DM is just unacceptable. If you go into the game to just challenge and battle the DM instead of playing the game, you probably shouldn't attend in the first place. Nobody wants to deal with somebody that's going to be constantly challenging the DM at every single turn just for the sake of picking a fight. If you want to pick a fight somewhere else. People want to play the game, not have to deal with you constantly having to stop the game because you want to gotcha the DM every single time. DMs that pull gotchas suck. Players that also pull gotchas suck. Don't pull gotchas. Just play the damn game. Simple as that. It took me years to get the confidence to DM again. And when I did, I made sure to be better, work harder, and take it more easy on myself mentally too. I look back on that time after playing many games, and I'm grateful how the other more experienced players stuck by me, even if I wasn't the greatest DM. I've since DM'd many campaigns and played in many more, some with DMs making mistakes and bad calls, but what I've never done is set out to crap all over the DM and other players for it. DMs will make mistakes, they'll make bad calls and stuff, but like if you're coming in to join a game as a player just to pick a fight with the DM and call them out and gotcha them, I feel like you're gonna just make it more painful for everybody else, because it's not just you and the DM there, it's you, DM, and other players. But if everybody has to sit through you trying to pick a fight with the DM, or DM have to pick a fight with a player, it just stalls the entire game for everybody else. Don't come in aggressively trying to pick a fight. If you're going to be playing in other people's games, come with a mindset of you're not the DM, you're the player. The DM is going to do the DM position, you get to play as a player, and you get to do the player thing, because otherwise it's just what's the point? And with that, that's going to be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.